Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Arlington Public Schools regular board meeting. My name is Mary Lebec, the president, and we're so excited to have so many people in the audience tonight. It's going to be a fun meeting. And we are going to go ahead and start with calling the meeting to order. And next, we'll have our land acknowledgement by Maddie, and then we'll have our pledge of allegiance led by Al.
We honor the first peoples of these lands by acknowledging that the area in which we gather is within the traditional territory of the Stillaguamish tribe of Indians. The Stillaguamish people have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their ancestors have remained in this territory to this day. The Stillaguamish people have continued to practice the traditional ways of their ancestors of fishing, hunting, and gathering. The Stillaguamish tribe has had these lands and cultural traditions passed on to them by their ancestors who believed that everything has a spirit and that they are caretakers of these lands and waters.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll have our roll call attendance. Madam Clerk. Director Diamond.
Present.
Director Kelly.
Here.
Director Watts. President Levesque. Here. Director Knapp. Here. Student Advisor Van Beek. Here. Student Advisor Phillips. Here. Superintendent Sweeting. Here. Here. Next, we'll have our approval of the agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to change on our agenda? Or do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion, make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Also, it's been moved by Director Kelly and seconded by Director Knapp to approve the agenda. Director Diamond.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
President Levesque. Aye. Director Knapp. Aye. Thank you. And next up, we'll have our student presentation. We'd like to welcome up our Weston High School Magic Mondays Club and our fearless principal, Andrea Huntermark Dixon, and some students and Mr. Farrell.
Good evening, everybody. It is great to have Weston here. It's great to see our Weston student advisor, Miss Maddie Van Beek. I feel like you are a local celebrity. I know that we were very excited also, Mr. Gary Sable, to have Parsley be able to see you. You walked in and he literally said, "There is my hero." So without further ado, the students of Weston and Mr. Farrell are going to chat with you guys about the Magic and D&D Club and really kind of the sense of belonging and identity that it gives.
All right, everybody. Happy Monday, all. One of the 5 best days of the school week. As stated, I'm Mr. Farrell. I'm the club advisor for the Magic Mondays Club. We run both Magic Gathering and tabletop gaming at the club. We have Parsley and Ari here to give their thoughts and perspectives on the club. Hey. Thanks.
Magic Mondays bring students together. I have been going to Weston High School for 3 years. My first year at Weston, I didn't attend any Magic Mondays until the last 2 weeks of school. The next year, I attended almost every session I could make it to. I was initially scared to attend any sessions because I had no experience with playing Magic the Gathering, but I ended up with the majority of the people at the club and grew closer to each and every one.
Magic Mondays help us form new ideas. Magic Mondays help us form new ideas by giving us ideas on how to solve problems, like how to get through a locked door in a dungeon or how to disable traps. It also gives us real ideas like planning ahead to the next session and note-taking. Magic Mondays help form many new ideas and plans in the group.
Magic Monday introduces students to a whole new world. Most students who decide to participate in Magic Mondays don't actually have any experience playing the games that we play. Magic Monday is a great way to learn how to play a whole new type of game, and after school, students can go and play with other people.
Helps teach players to run games by themselves. Eventually, players will have to leave Nest when they graduate, meaning they can no longer play Magic Mondays. But out in the world, with the experience from our club, they can make their own games and eventually become great dungeon masters. Players can experience being a DM, dungeon master, firsthand with a bit of help from Mr. Farrell's great knowledge of being a DM. And eventually, with that knowledge passed down, they can start passing it to other players.
Magic Mondays builds close friendships. As I mentioned in my first line, it brings students together. Since it brings students together, your chances of finding a few really good friends are very high. And you already know you'll have something in common too.
Practices critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and more. In Magic Mondays during sessions, there's a lot of thinking that needs to be done, like where to move, how to defeat an enemy, what spells and enchantments are needed to open secret doors, and what needs to be added to a dice roll or subtracted from a dice roll. For example, you roll a 18 for intelligence and magic, but you have an intelligence score of -2. With all this thinking, it can be applied to real life, like when you need to use actual math in the real world for taxes or bills or purchase multiple items and only have $20. I don't know why there's a huge space there. Magic Mondays provide critical thinking, math skills, and lots of other areas of the brain.
I'm going to step in for a quick moment. Every year for the past 4 years, I've been putting in a request for donations to the club from Magic Kids, which is the official charity partner of Wizards of the Coast, creators of Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. Each year they've sent me a box of supplies, usually loose cards, dice, card sleeves, materials to support the club. This specific year, they gave us 5 boxes of booster packs for the club. So the students are able to receive prizes from the club, have opportunities to build decks with brand new cards. We also have more card sleeves and deck boxes and a very neat backpack, which I have yet to hand out, but somebody's going to be going home with it this year.
It is a great escape. Magic Monday is an amazing escape for students who may not have a fantastic home life or need to let go of stress. Playing a game that takes place in another world where you basically get to do whatever you want is so freeing and relieves so much stress.
Magic Mondays and tabletop gameplay. Magic the Gathering is a card game played with multiple people. You use these cards with characters, lands, etc. to fight the other players and eventually win with strategy. D&D is a tabletop game where you can create characters on a character sheet and use these characters to explore the world. Whether it is the dungeons of Ravenloft or the city streets of Baldur's Gate, there is truly no limit, typo, to your imagination and exploration.
Magic Mondays is fun, just like functions. Magic Monday is insanely fun. I have never seen a student join the club for a week and then leave because it was boring. I have never had a time where I even thought about leaving the club because it wasn't fun. Students love this club, and I don't see that changing for as long as it goes on.
Makes Mondays fun. Usually people don't want to come to school on Mondays because we all agree Mondays are the worst. But when you have something to look forward to at the end of the day, it makes it better. Many people look forward to Magic Mondays, and it cheers them up when the bell rings and you can run over to the table and start playing with your friends. Questions?
How many students participate out of like Weston population?
So we've had an average of about 8 to 11 students participating in any given year. This particular year, I've engaged with 10 of them.
And can you jump in during the year, or is it like, did you need to start, you can jump in like you did the last 2 weeks of school?
Yeah, it's actually from personal experience. It's like a little stressful, but it's very fun because really no matter where you are, you can join because then your character can just be like just introduced and it really leaves like no limits. Like you, even though you missed out on stuff, you didn't miss out on the whole thing because you're still part of it overall.
Very nice. Very cool.
Guys like alternate Magic and D&D, or is one preference over the other?
Yeah, like this week we did Magic the Gathering, last week we did D&D. But since we have like this whole D&D thing, we try to do D&D a little bit more than Magic. But if someone wants to start Magic at a different table and they know how to play, then they can do that.
This might be for Andrea. Has the attendance been affected by a fun club on a Monday?
Yes, I mean, the kids that are actively involved in Magic are showing up regularly, and it's very strategic that it is on a Monday, which is a low attendance day. Yes.
Maybe teachers need an incentive.
Maybe teachers need it.
It's a game on Monday.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for coming and sharing. We are D&D players at my house, and so I love to see it. So thank you so much.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing.
Awesome job presenting.
Yes, very nice. I like your slides.
Thank you very much. Set is our approval of our minutes from our study session and regular meeting on October 27th. Is there anything anyone would like to amend, or do we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the study session minutes, October 27th, and the regular meeting minutes from October 27th.
I'll second. It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Knapp to approve the study session and regular meeting minutes from October 27th. Madam Clerk. Director Diamond?
Aye.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
President Levesque? Aye. Director Knapp? Aye. So the minutes are approved. Next up is our public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have anyone that has signed up to speak during public comments, or is anyone itching to talk? No? Or anyone online? All right, moving right on, we have our consent agenda. There's a lot of fun field trips in our consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
It's been moved by Director Knapp and seconded by Director Kelly to approve the consent agenda. Madam Clerk. Director Diamond?
Aye.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
President Levesque? Yes. Director Knapp?
Yes.
The consent agenda is approved. Next up is another fun part of our meeting. It's our new business portion of our meeting. We're going to start with our donation from Arlington Education Foundation, the 2025 fall mini grants, and we've got some people to present. Kevin, I know is here, and Nicole. Yes, and I want to remind us all that this is an action item, that we should not forget to vote on this.
I'll remind you at the end. Can I do that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We get so excited.
I know, we all do. All right. Well, yes, I am Kevin S. and this is Nicole. We are with the Arlington Education Foundation. And so we're here tonight to announce the recipients of the Foundation's Fall 2025 Classroom Mini Grants. So a little bit about our grants here. This is the Foundation's 14th year awarding Classroom Mini Grants. And in those 14 years through this fall, we have provided over $210,000 in grant awards. So that's exciting for us too. This spring, we broke a record. We received 46 applications. And tonight we were excited to fund 3 of those requests. So tonight we'll be giving out a total of $20,242.45 to 33 classroom teachers and or grade teams within the district. This is a great example of the passion and commitment that the foundation has for education in our community. Now, a little bit more about the grants. The applications are distributed to all teachers through their building principal. And included with the application is the scoring criteria that we use for review in the approval process. Each application is reviewed against the following criteria. We're looking for applications that have clear standards-based academic goals, provide long-term sustainable benefits, promote inclusion and equity, have an innovative idea or element of technology, and ideally have an opportunity for family involvement. Grants are structured to limits of $500 for individual classroom submissions or $1,250 for a department or a grade team submission. So we're hoping that many of the recipients are here tonight. So we'll go ahead and announce each grant, and we'll ask that if you're here to receive one, you come forward, get your certificate, and then please don't leave. We want to get a picture afterwards, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. All right, so we'll start off with a grant for $1,250. This is for Howard Middle School. This goes to Kim Anderson and Tim Hidma for a grant titled Strengthening Our Future One Hawk at a Time. Next, we have a grant for $925. This goes to Eagle Creek Elementary at Julie Polkinghorn and grade team. The grant is titled Eagle Creek Garden 2025 Grow Big or Grow Home. $485.43. Another one to Eagle Creek. This one goes to Jacqueline Cobry and grade team. Grant is titled Systems of Learning Support. All right, $500 to, this one is from President's Elementary. All right, I'm probably gonna butcher this name. I'm sorry if I do. Jennifer Arabola. How do you say
Her
it?
teacher teammate,
How do
friend.
you say it?
Aribabola.
Arabola.
I can accept for her.
Please do. Grant is titled Supporting ML Students as they strive to friendship cross language barriers. Thank you for accepting.
Sure.
All right, let's see. Next grant is for $1,250. This one goes to Arlington High School. Jeff Healy and grade team for a grant titled World War II Model UDL Project. $489.94. This one's to Haller Middle School. Brenda Light, SLP materials for Haller Middle School.
Yeah.
Layton, thank you. $603.66 to President's Elementary. Let's see, Jeannie Buell and grade team. Books to celebrate historical and cultural influences in America. Right, $1,250. Another one to Presidents. This is Susan Cotton and grade team for a grant titled Engineering the Future. $442.82. This one is to Stillaguamish Valley Learning Center, Kelly Degnan. $441.76. Kent Prairie Elementary for a grant entitled Engage and Empower Tools for Inclusive Participation Across Learning Environments to Beth Lawrence. $1,250. This one's for Post Middle School for a grant titled PE Equipment. Joe Madison and Tom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. $500.
You can find the screen.
I don't need to read it.
There we go.
He's got notes.
$500, Arlington High School. Grant is titled Fiction Novels for Classroom Library. This is to Blake Peters. Another $500 grant, Arlington High School. The grant is titled Horror Literature Classroom Library to Ben Ballou. $1,250. This one's to Haller Middle School. Grant is titled Reading Supports for Multilanguage Learners and Students with Learning Disabilities. This is to Terry Stanton and their very. $932.91. Post Middle School, grant is titled Post Middle School Math Department Calculators. This is to Sarah Morgan and grade. $401.25. President's Elementary, grant is titled Calm Brains, Calm Bodies, Creating a Centered Space. This is Denise Wilson.
Oh, that's me.
Thank you. $338. Eagle Creek Elementary, grant is titled Speech and Language Multisensory Materials. This is to Gabriella Vanik.
Good night, sir.
$251. At Eagle Creek, grant is titled Speech Therapy Materials and Documentation Support. This is to Jennifer Anspaugh. All right, $500. Pioneer Elementary, grant is titled Play, Practice, and Problem Solve, Building Math Minds Through Games. Trina Sanford. $490. Post Middle School, grant titled Active Learning to Rebecca Connell. Please do, thank you. $382.34. Arlington High School, grant is titled AHS Percussion Ensemble Practice Pads to John Aguilar. Thank you. $855.47. Eagle Creek Elementary, grant is titled Diversification of Supplies for PT, OT, and Sensory. This is to Nancy Ryan and grade team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, $500. Tullagawamish Valley Learning Center. This one gets the most creative name. Phonics with Pizzazz. Randy Carter. Another $500 grant to Tullagawamish Valley Learning Center. Sensory Wonderland, hands-on learning for curious kindergartners. Janelle Sable. I can take that. Thanks, Gary. That's no problem. Let's see, $330. This one is a combined grant. This is Apple, SBLC, Eagle Creek, and AOP. Grant is titled Multisensory Materials to Support Speech Therapy Engagement to Kat Baxter. $420.41. This is for Haller Middle School. Grant is titled Sensory Tools for Haller Life Skills. Jamie Cran. $1,245.76. Haller Middle School. Zuma Rocker Chairs, 6th grade ELA to Kaylee Wolfington and Tammy Dustin. $316.09. This one's to Kent Prairie. Grant is titled Classroom Library Additions for 5th grade, Graham Kusala.
You know all the people.
$409.21. President's Elementary, grant is titled Replacement for Worn Out Therapy Swing, Cassidy McGee. $98.82, Eagle Creek Animal Life Cycles Project, Miranda Anderson and second grade team. $500, Kent Prairie Elementary. Grant is titled Flexible Seating to Provide Choice to Third Grade Classroom. This is for Tiffany Gates. Or make them buy you coffee. $144.58. This is another combined grant to Post and Haller Middle Schools. The grant is titled Whiteboards for Communication. This is to Janley Wilson and Multilingual Programs. And last but certainly not least, $488. This is President's Elementary. Grant is titled Adaptive Tools and Bilateral Coordination Activities to Improve Handwriting Independence. This is Carly Solomon. You get our picture first?
Yes, and then we will not forget.
Okay.
Gary wants everything.
Yeah, so the board, if you wouldn't mind standing up, and then the recipients, if you could stand right in front of the board there. I need 2 rows. Yeah, that'd be great. Yep. And you're slightly shorter, maybe come in front so I can see you. Nice to be able to see everyone's faces. That's the trick. Let's see.
That's gonna be 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I think I can see everybody. That's hiding. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Look right at the camera, please. Nice big smile. Hold it, hold it, hold it. No blinking. Then we're good to flash. Make sure we can see everybody. And look right here, please. Excellent. Looks great. One more for insurance. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome for being here tonight. And you're all welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like. So, no school, right? Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For things that.
Things were going really.
And with that, the Education Foundation respectfully requests that you approve the grants. Considering I've already given them out.
Now what do you know?
After the fact, yeah.
All right. We have a motion to accept the donation of $20,242.45 from the Arlington Education Foundation as presented. Oh, student advisors. See, I did forget something, didn't I? Our student advisors get to weigh in on this one. How do you feel about this? Great. Would you approve it?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your patience with me, as I always forget something, because it's so exciting. Do we have a motion to approve the $20,242.45?
I will make a motion to approve the $20,242.45 from the Arlington Education Foundation.
I second.
It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Kelly to approve the Arlington Education Foundation fall mini grants in the amount of $20,242.45. Director Diamond?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
President Levesque? Yes. Director Knapp?
Yay.
Approval is is approved. And that brings us to another really fun part of our meeting. We're excited to welcome Gina Zutenhorst to talk to us about our 2024-25 fiscal year end report, financial statements. Welcome, Gina Zutenhorst. Hello.
Yes, here to share about the 24-25 fiscal year, which has officially come to a close, and we are now ready to share the information with our board. So a little bit of background, the state required financial format for school districts in Washington state is called, a really exciting name, the F-196. So that is what describes our financial statements. The fiscal year runs from September 1st to August 31st. So that's why we're at this point now. There's a few months that are needed to do the final year closeouts, the accounting entries that we need to make. And during that open period, that gets done, and then we're able to officially close out. We submit our financial statements by October 24 to the Northwest ESD 189. And then they perform a review, a comparative, before it's submitted on up to OSPI. So today, we're going to go through a summary of our F-196, which I have prepared for you in this presentation. The actual F-196 is attached within the board plate for anyone and everyone to see, and it will be posted on OSPI's website as well. So the focus of our presentation today will mostly fall around general fund, but we will also run through the other funds that we have, the ASB fund, the debt service capital projects, and transportation vehicle funds. So here is a summary of our general fund. So this is a picture of our revenues, expenditures, and our ending fund balance. And we put it in a comparative format to give context. So you can see the prior year, 23-24's actual figures, our 24-25 budgeted figures. That's the year we're closing out. And then the 24-25 actual numbers as they are. And the primary thing that you will likely notice right away is that our fund balance has increased. So it increased from the beginning to the end by 1.694 million. 1.69 million. And so that means we have an ending fund balance to close out 23-24 of 2.9 million. And that means we start the new school year with 2.9 million because it's actual numbers. Here is our fund balance trend with that final number plugged in there for August. The bottom line on this chart is the 24-25 fiscal year, month to month to month. And you can see previous years' lines up there as well, with 24-25 being the bottom line, but no longer as it is beginning to eclipse 22-23. So we have made progress with rebuilding fund balance. We did take interfund loans throughout the past few years. And as of August 25, general fund has fully paid back all interfund loans to capital projects, including interest of $28,240. And a little bit of background as well, when we're talking about fund balance, the board, as you know, we recently updated our fund balance policy for minimum fund balance, changing from it being 1 month's average operating costs, which would be approximately $8 million, to a goal of between 3 to 5%, which would make it be more like 3 to 5 million is where we would want to target to be. Now you can't just conjure up fund balance and make it be that. It has to actually transpire through actual revenues and actual expenditures. But that is our target for what we would strive to, at a minimum, to have. So we're close with a $2.9 million fund balance. We're getting really, really close to at least being at our minimum. But as we especially know in that minimum fund balance policy, it does acknowledge that flexibility in times of emergency, which when we were in the pandemic was the primary cause of why we dug into our reserves. But now our policy also recognizes that it's a multi-year effort to rebuild from that, a multi-year effort, and we are still rebuilding. This slide we continue to keep in our presentation so that we remember the conditions that led up to and around our fund balance over the past 4 years. And now we'll talk a little bit more about revenues in detail. Revenues. This is by major category of revenues, and the state defines how we code and account for all of our revenues. This breaks it out, and you can see the primary increases are in state special purpose and state general. Again, it's the same format, shows you the prior year, this year's budget, and this year's actual. That can be a lot of numbers to be gazing at on a screen. But here is a pie chart figure of the makeup of our revenues. And you can see that our primary source of funding comes from Washington State. The combined state special purpose funds and state general purpose funds make up 81% of our program's funding. And the next largest category is then our local levy revenues. 11% of our revenues come from our local levy dollars. 4% comes from our federal funding. And then there are two other little pie slices on this chart that represent miscellaneous things like local interest money, tuition and fees, donations from like even such as like what we just talked about tonight, the AEF donation and things like that, PTA donations that falls under the local non-tax and other funds. So just briefly talking about the areas where revenues were more than planned. The figure that we showed was that state general revenues came in at 61.6 million. And that was higher than we anticipated. But that is tied right back to our enrollment that came in. We had 53 students more in full-time equivalent to enrollment of students than we had budgeted for. So that created that increase in the state funds to match. And just a note that that was actually 125 students more than we had in 22-23 or 23-24. So, and that annual average full-time equivalent is the measure that drives funding levels of basic state apportionment. So breaking that out, state special purpose revenues were 21.8 million more. And that was 1.25 million more than we planned in the special education area. State special education funding, that was mostly due to enrollment increase in special education, but also a large safety net grant funding that came in approved late in the fiscal year and we received in August of 2025. And then state other purpose funds, there's a few other little sources of state special purpose funds that were more than we planned. And one of those is in the transitional bilingual program, 116,000 from state funds for the food service program, and then 378,000 more in the transportation program than we had initially budgeted for. And then 271,000 in state, little miscellaneous state grants. I'm going to move on from talking about revenues and talk about expenditures, unless there's questions for the time being. Okay, so expenditures, the state accounting manual, there's a very thick manual. We're regulated by the state exactly how we're to account for and code all of our expenditures. And they have very lots of different categories that they like us to code things in. By program, by activity, by object, by location, and by subfund. And so we're not going to talk about all of those or show you the expenditures sliced up in all of those categories because we're going to give a summary out, but I'll show you by program and then also by object. And that'll make more sense when we're looking at it. And also we'll talk a little bit about subfund. So here are the expenditures by program summary. And you can see it's broken out by regular instruction, state special education, federal special education, CTE, other miscellaneous programs like Title I and lab. Those are state programs. Other instructional programs, there's a few things in there like traffic safety, summer school, and community services and support services. So those are all categories. And within each of those, there's multiple programs. So the biggest primary one is regular instruction. And then the other one that is largest on that list is support services. And here's a little bit more about what is within each of those areas. So support services, you might wonder, well, what is that? It includes child and nutrition services, so all of the school breakfast and lunch program. It includes the student transportation program, so the busing, and other departments that provide district-wide support, such as our board of directors, the superintendent's office, the business office, and human resources, public relations, communications office, curriculum support, information systems technology, building systems, security, utilities, insurance, maintenance, custodians, long list. And here is our general fund expenditures broken out by object. So it talks about certificated salaries. That means anyone that holds a teaching certificate in the state of Washington is considered a certificated staff person. And then classified salaries is basically everyone who does not hold a instructional certificate to teach in Washington State. Then employee benefits are for all, payroll taxes, health benefits, health insurance. Then we have supplies, purchased materials, purchased services, travel, and then capital outlay. And you can see those are the primary categories that the state requires us to code by. And in the special education area, we did encounter significant needs this past fiscal year that we needed to hire at the beginning of the year and as the year went on that were not initially included within our budget. And so we had additional certificated and classified staff that we needed to hire. And you can see that that plays out in the figures that are represented here because it shows that we spent more than we had budgeted for in those areas. And then supplies and materials and purchase services, those two categories, they're rather interchangeable. So where one may expend more in materials and supplies, then we may be spending less in contractual services. It just depends. They're really rather interchangeable. So they mostly offset each other. And then travel is just a very small component of our budget. Mainly it's for training and or mileage reimbursement and things like that. And then capital outlay, that category, we typically don't have a huge amount of funding that we are putting out for large pieces of equipment. But what shows there is the fact that we have lease accounting that we must do, and that is entered and done at the end of the fiscal year. So those entries, most of that capital outlay figure is from lease accounting entries that we have to make for copiers and building facilities that we lease. Here is about subfund. But mainly what this is telling you is that out of our ending fund balance, 2.9 million of fund balance, that far right corner, 2.5 million of that is state resources and 467,000 of it is made up of funds that are other than state resources, local and not federal. And here is a large breakout of the variety of things that our subfund is utilized for. So the subfund is levy enrichment dollars and other items that are designated as subfund 1. We spent 14.3 million in this category. And that 14.3 million is on this chart, 14.3 million of expenditures. Then here's the breakdown of what that is spent on. So the largest items for the most part are on top. Additional certificated staff and classified staff, instructional compensation such as dollars, time, responsibility and incentive funds, stipends, substitute teachers, and other kinds of compensation items. And then you can keep on scanning, but it's there for your reading pleasure. And with that, that's the last slide that I have for general fund. So I will move on to the other funds. The general fund is the primary operating fund. The other funds are not as big as that. So we'll talk about our Associated Student Body Fund first. And expenditures in the Associated Student Body Fund are to be of a cultural, athletic, recreational, and social nature. And we use the acronym CARS, and that is a popular description across the state for that. And a primary premise of it is also that it is student governed and that students approve the uses and distribution of those funds. Here is a breakout of the Associated Student Body funds for 24-25. And this just really gives you context that our ASB is about close to $1 million operation. And it is at the secondary level. And the students design and working with the administration at secondary level to come up with their budgets. They submit them through our office. And then it is approved by the board as part of the budgeting process as well. There is that. They did spend down a little bit. They've kind of been growing. Their fund balance has grown and grown and grown over the past multiple years. So it's actually a beneficial thing that may be spending it down just a little bit. And that can fluctuate from year to year, even with just a big trip that they may be saving for or a fundraising thing that they're doing that might take a little bit of time to accomplish. Moving forward, we'll talk about our debt service fund. Here is the numbers for the debt service fund, and that's mainly for principal, interest, and other bond costs. And with this last payment that we made within the 24-25 fiscal year, all of our bonds that were utilized for all of the voted bonds have been paid for, and all of the non-voted bonds that were a jump start for our capital projects funding, those have been all fully repaid. The only thing that's left outstanding now is our bus debt, a little bit of non-voted bus debt so that we could get our fleet updated and move on from that. For the bus, 7, 8, 9, I don't exactly remember, but I think we have more than that. Okay. Don't know exactly without referencing, but it's not next year. And it's not the year after that. It's probably just like what Brian said, 3 and 4. And now construction. Here's our capital projects fund. These funds that run through this are for major construction, major capital repairs and improvements. And we have our capital levy,
which is the major source that comes through there and that we use to do the projects that we've done. And over the past 3 or 4 years, this is where we're at for the highlights of the major projects during 24-25. The Stillaguamish Learning Center project, the President's Roof and Exterior Envelope project, Haller Middle School bleachers, finishing up the last construction details from projects that were part of the 2024 capital levy. And that included district-wide safety and security improvements and HVAC improvements at multiple school buildings. We talk about our bus fund now, transportation vehicle fund. We're required to, if we're gonna buy a bus, we have to have the funds in our transportation vehicle fund to do it with. So all bus purchases go through this fund. And we bought 2 buses this past fiscal year. And this is our ending fund balance in there is 1.4 million. And buses are a long order. You can make an order and it can be 6 months to a year before you will get those buses. So we have to go at a pace that we can handle. And that is that for all of the funds. What's next? The Washington State Auditor's Office, the state will perform an audit of our financial statements and our federal grant programs. They will come along sometime in February or March and perform that audit and give us an opinion as to whether our financial statements are fairly presented and in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. And they'll also perform what's called a federal single audit over our grant programs and internal controls around our grant programs. And with that, any questions? That means I've been doing my
You
work.
answered all of our
Yeah.
questions before we finished, so we appreciate you. Thank you for that update and yay for fund balance. That's going upward, right, a rising fund.
Rising.
Next up on the agenda is another really exciting report. We're so excited to hear about our Alternative Learning Experience ALE courses annual report. I'd like to welcome Carrie Marsh, our principal at SPLC. Good evening, Carrie.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm Carrie Marsh, the principal at SVLC, Stillaguamish Valley Learning Center. We house all the ALE programs for our district. The contents of this report, I'm going to talk to you about the student FTE and head count, ratio of certificated staff to student FTE, and how ALE courses support district goals, and a little extra. So first, to define the ALE courses, Washington State has 3 different ALE types. The first is site-based. Site-based is defined as 20% or more of in-person instructional contact time with a certificated teacher. Arlington has a site-based ALE class. We don't have a great name for it. We just call it on-site. And we have over 200 kids this year participating in that. Remote means that less than 20% of their instruction is with a certificated teacher. So that would be students working at home and then just partnering with the teacher. Currently, we have 1 student doing a part-time remote program, but we usually have about 1 or 2 remote kids in Arlington. Online means 50% or more of the course material is delivered through an online platform. We have an online program that we have named Arlington Online Program. We call it AOB. Student FTE and head count. So off to the end, currently, as of the very end of October, our FTE is 322 and our head count is 298. So you can see we are very much a growing program. The October 2018 was the first time I delivered this presentation, and we're almost triple size. For this one, I'm going to break down a little bit our FTE. The numbers are a little hard to understand, maybe just for you guys are probably good at this. We have 321.5 FTE, and that shows the number of students attached to our entity. So that's our full-time on-site, our full-time AOP, our AOP blended. So we do blend with Weston and AHS. That's what that number represents. And our head count is 298. That head count is only showing the students where we have 50% or more of their coursework. And we have a number of students who do one class with us, so they attend Weston or AHS and do just one online class. They're not represented in that head count. So total number of students being served through SVLC is 463. It's important to note that an ALE student is different than a lab student. So at Arlington High School, we have some kids, and Weston, I think all of Weston's students are lab students. They're taking the online course in a lab, so they're getting attendance taken. So that's a traditional student, not an ALE student, but they're still counted as part of our entity. This is the total number of learning plans. Every student in ALE is required by the state to have a written student learning plan. This learning plan has a lot of management. We have to manage any contact. We have to manage progress. We're required to document and communicate progress every month. And so this is representing how many learning plans our teachers are managing. It's also showing that our on-site kiddos, we have on-site offerings for kinder through 8th grade. I'll brag a couple times during this presentation that all of our classes have individual classes now. So we don't have any more combined grade levels. And then our online program serves grades 6th through 12th. By probably mid-second semester, the 6th, 7th, 8th grade numbers will at least double. We usually get, I think right now we have about 15. We'll get at least 15 more by February or March. The ratio of certificated staff to student FTE. So site-based and remote, we have 8.1 teacher FTE dedicated to site-based and remote students and 208 students. So that is 1 certificated employee to 25 students. For AOP, we have 2.6 teacher FTE for 113. This is a little bit of that head count game. And so that's 1 certificated staff to every 43 students. It's important to note that I have a typo there. It should be, oh, that's right, the 0.6 FTE. So of the 2.6, 0.6 FTE are teachers that are just grading. So my 3 middle school teachers have 0.2 of their contract that they grade work on Fridays. But they're not managing the learning plans or communicating with students beyond like comments on the work. This is the same graphic, but just using the head count numbers. So using head count numbers, numbers of students that we're interacting with, the ratio goes to 1 certificated staff to 98 kids. So if you look at that, you're thinking coursework they're grading, and then the lab students we don't have to do learning plans for, but the other students we do. So even if they have 1 class and they're an ALE student, they still have that fairly cumbersome learning plan to manage. This is just a breakdown of the number of high school students, Arlington School District high school students that are accessing AOP. We have 91 that are uniquely SVLC. So those are only SVLC students. They're not taking any Arlington High School or Weston courses. Weston, we have 41. They're not ALE. They're all working in a lab. Arlington High School, we have 96 students working in the lab and 21 who are blended. So that means they're ALE for a total of 249. This number isn't going down. We sort of expected or wondered if maybe after COVID online would go down a little bit. It's growing. Edmentum courseware numbers, we changed our curriculum this year. Last year we had Apex for 9-12 and Accelerated Education for 6-8. We've upgraded to Edmentum courseware, which is the same company that produces Apex. And we have it for 6-12, which is a lot easier to have all of our kids on one platform. So at the end of October, We had 55 active courses, 82 active sessions, and 469 active enrollments. I am fascinated by the time. So our kids have completed total time on task. This is not when they're opening their computer and letting it just sit and we think they're working. So actively working is 937 hours for a daily average of 133 hours. So that's a lot of work by our high school kids and middle school. And 61 completed courses. That would be higher today because now we finished the quarter. A lot of our kids in AOP work on a quarter system. So even at the end of October, we had 61 completed courses. So that's awesome. So how ALE courses support our district goals, student learning and achievement. In our on-site program, we use district approved curriculum, the same as the middle school or the elementary, the traditional elementaries. Our online program also uses district approved curriculum. It's just not similar to anything else. This year we have one class for every elementary grade, no combined classes this year, which is exciting. We added one more teacher. All students in our on-site program attend campus classes 3 days a week and do home learning Monday, Friday. Those are work days. They're just not on site. We're using universal design for learning to provide rich task and meaningful learning in each of the core subjects. AOP serves all students' needs. We have kids who are working to catch up. They're maybe behind and they need to retrieve credits. And we have plenty of kids who are advancing and getting done. Every year we have kids finish in their junior year or early senior year. There are kids in our system who really want to get out there and live their life. So we're not holding them back. And AOP offers a choice to families and students as well as the onsite. So it gives Arlington families a choice of traditional or alternative setting. Safe and caring environment is another district goal. We have learning consultants for each kid. So on site, each student is connected to an adult in the system. And that adult, usually their teacher, homeroom teacher, classroom teacher, that person partners with families. So we have families and students and teachers working together with monthly meetings. We have kids of all types of backgrounds and all types of family needs. So some families want less time at school, some families want a smaller environment. And so we offer a non-traditional setting. And for many AOP students, the ability to access courses without going into a scheduled building means they're able to meet the demands of life. Some are working, some are taking care of other people or themselves or have medical needs. Resource stewardship, one of our greatest resources are the people that work with us, right? And we have awesome, awesome teachers. Our staff is really passionate about an alternative option. And so they're really great at thinking outside the box and being flexible. We've decided not to purchase K5 AOP licenses again this year. This is our second year. There's not a real need, and we have a lot of great programs in this district for elementary kids. And we brought quite a few homeschool families back to Arlington. We have some on our wait list still. And AOP allows Arlington School District to capture and retain some student FTE because of the flexibility of the program. Our state has online programs. There's other options within the state. But we like kids to try to stay in Arlington as much as possible. And the last one is community and parent partnerships. That's kind of our jam. We work with parents really closely. They're a part of the team. They're a part of a lot of the learning decisions. They're aware of assessments. They help us with goal setting and engagement. They have regular meetings and they're pretty good about attending them. There was a time where we had to really drag people in, but parents join meetings all the time and our teachers join different meetings. It's a big part of our program. We have strong partnerships with other districts around us. We are approved for a single district enrollment. So we can only have 10% of our online kiddos outside of Arlington, and we're at capacity. But it's pretty fluid, so we have a wait list and we bring them in. I think maybe Marysville closed their online program recently. We get a lot of calls from Marysville. And then we have a great parent club, and our parent club is growing and growing and doing pretty great things around campus. So currently they're selling car wash tickets for 5th grade camp and planning a roller skating party. So they're doing cool things. Some celebrations, top of our list, our campus is beautiful. We had a little, what would you call it, a little refresh. Our ramps are fantastic. That's probably our favorite, as no one's worried about falling through the ramps. It's all painted and looks really great. So it was a little bit of a struggle getting in, but we're in and everything's working awesome. We're really thankful for it. We have Monday enrichment courses again, only in K-5. As I said earlier, our 6th through 8th grade teachers, part of their contract is to correct work for AOP, so they don't have time and flexibility to do enrichment, but they do open their classrooms for intervention. So kids come in on Mondays who need help, middle schoolers do, and have access to teachers. In elementary, our 3rd through 5th grade, they're offering a science course. So that's science is on Monday. Parents can opt to bring their kids to school to do the science course, or they can opt to do it at home. There's a common science journal, so that's the assessment piece. It's just up to the parents if they want to come in or not. And K2, the offering is essentially an extra round of reading and writing support. So that would take some work off the whole learning piece, and kids would get access to their teachers for 2 more hours. We have a great student leadership group. They take an active role on campus. They will do anything we will allow them. They love to do assemblies. They do our announcements. They take care of our flag. They help with our fundraisers. They're pretty awesome. We have a great parent club. Our program's growing. We added another elementary classroom, and we have waitlisting classes in every class except 1st and 4th. And I think we may have filled the last 2 1st grade classes this week, 1st grade spots. We're in our 4th year of LAP for elementary, which is fairly new. It's our 2nd year with Mrs. Strode, who is an amazing, amazing reading teacher, and we're serving more students than ever before. In a true SVLC fashion, we're serving in multiple ways and multiple groups and multiple modalities. So we have some kids coming in for fluency, some kids coming in for UFly, but our kids are reading, and Mrs. Strode's just amazing. We also have a great special education team. We claim Kat Baxter as our SLP. She also does some work at Eagle Creek. But we now have a SLP that's on site. We have an awesome special education teacher and a great school psych. So we have a great team that are meeting to support our students. And we are very excited to have 2 hours of a daytime custodian time to support our lunch service. Our lunch service changed a little bit with adding another classroom, so kids eat lunch in their classrooms. And Miss Heidi is awesome and serves us very well. She is needed. Next steps, we always want to add more staff and support. We would like an academic counselor to support our high school transcripts and student needs. Currently, high school students have access to counselors at AHS or Weston, but once they come to SVLC, we have to reach out to those other people. We don't have a counselor that serves only SVLC. And then we have student needs like everyone else, where we would appreciate having a counselor on campus. Our AOP numbers are growing. They have large caseloads, and we're going to have to do something about that soon. We need para support for supervision. Adding a class has added a lot more kids. It feels like 24 feels like a lot more kids. We need more supervision during lunch, especially as we go in and supervise classrooms. And to support our AOP, we're hoping to get some para support to support just AOP duties. And we also need a nurse on site. Currently, Krista Kramer is our go-to nurse. We reach out to Eagle Creek if we have an emergency. But we have students with individual health plans that should have a nurse on campus, and then we have a playground and elementary kids, so we have things happen all the time. And then in a fantasy land, we would love to have more classrooms. We have a growing program. We would love a bigger parking lot, better access to our school, and a better ingress and egress, honestly. We'd love a gathering space. We're missing having a gym. We used to have a lunchroom that was like half a portable, but we could gather in there. So we're missing that a little bit this year, and also our classroom space. That's it. Questions? Sure.
You're on your wait list. Is it like 1 or 2 for each grade level, or is it like 100?
That's a good question. It depends on the class. Middle school, we have probably, I would say, 5 to 6 for each grade, especially 6th grade. I'm not sure why that is. And we have a large group, a large wait list for 5th grade. Kinder, we have like 15. And they recognize that they're probably not gonna get in. I'm sure they're somewhere else by now, but we're already getting calls for next year. We don't open a kindergarten wait list until January, just because we need a break. But there's a big need in kindergarten, I think, having the smaller day. And then 1st grade, we usually have some openings, so we're not as full there, but middle of the way, like 4, 5, 6 seem to be big wait lists. 8th grade, we have a lot more turnover. We do have a large space in 8th grade, but because kids have to be satisfactory to stay, sometimes 8th grade has a little more turnover. So we'll get to the bottom of that by the end of the year. Great question.
Thank you for looping in the strategic plan through your presentation. I noticed how it was very aligned. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
And for the most fun part of our evening, maybe not the most fun, I don't know. I think it's fun. Gonna welcome Brian Lewis with our resolution number 2514, study and survey of school facilities. And just so I don't forget, you have to keep me honest, it's a student advisory vote and an action item.
Appreciate the hope, Mary, really do. This is gonna be the most fun part of the night.
Most fun.
I'll start off with a question. Who among you are familiar with the word cicada? And what is it?
And then it's like, always 20 years.
What is distinctive about the cicada? It goes into hibernation for a 7-year period and then reappears millions of them. I grew up in South Carolina, so I'm used to hearing them at night. And the study and survey is the cicada of my work. And that it comes up every 6 to 7 years. And we're in that period right now where we're refreshing the study and survey. So the purpose of the study and survey is to provide an inventory of the district's educational facilities. If you look at the study and survey document, there's no mention of the support buildings in our district. It's purely the educational facilities that we have. And the reason we're looking at these is to determine if we've got any kind of need for capital projects to serve a growing population or to replace a building that's out of date. And what would the state funding assistance be associated with that replacement or construction? So that's the intent or the explicit purpose stated by OSPI. There's a number of Washington administrative codes that define the study and survey and also allow for state grant funding. This is one of those projects, part of the completion of the resolution that you'll be considering tonight will allow us to apply for reimbursement from the state for the cost of the study and survey, which is around $43,000 paid for out of our capital projects fund. That money will go right back in to capital projects fund after we apply. So other purposes of the study and survey, it helps us see a clearer picture of what our need is for facilities for either modernization or growth. It also helps us understand how much instructional space do we actually have, the conditions of the buildings at each site. What is our bonding capacity? There is a financial component expressed here. What can we, and bonding capacity means how much debt do we have, either voted or non-voted, and whether or not we've actually got capacity to issue bonds. And whether or not we have a school housing emergency, which is defined by do we have enough seats for students? This is the last time we did a study and survey, there were actually 13 chapters included. The state has really narrowed down the information that's included in the study and survey. For example, there were 4 or 5 chapters in the study and survey prior that were only 1 page. And instead of having an individual chapter for that, the state has incorporated it into other chapters for either one of these two, inventory analysis and evaluation, or the long-range educational facilities plan. Just for your information, our master facilities plan is the document that memorializes our long-range educational and facilities plan. Now, educational in this context only means the buildings that serve, that provide a platform for education, and not actual curriculum program. We started this last October. We contracted with McGranahan Architects to perform the work for us. This is work that has to be performed by a board certified accountant or a certified building evaluator. McGranahan does have that capacity, so that's why we use them. The resolution that you're seeing tonight is the final step in this process, but it's actually the first step for us to begin applying for grant funding. And we use the information that's collected in a number of other different aspects of our work here. The one that you'll see in January, or maybe it's March, is the asset preservation program, which we do annually. And we've done internally the evaluation for the buildings in the asset preservation program, but again, every 7 years, we have to use a board certified evaluator for that asset preservation program. So we accomplish that purpose with the study and survey. It also feeds into our eligibility calculation for school construction assistance program funding. So the document itself was attached to the board plate. It's I think 136 pages in length. So there's a lot of material in there, a lot to read, a lot of valuable information. And in some respects, it can be expressed numerically. So I've compiled the table here that's attached to the presentation that shows key aspects of each of our school buildings. You know, what the name, what grades are served, the original construction date, addition or modernizations, the square footage. I think this is really interesting. The site built in square footage is 711,000 square feet of building space, which is a lot to maintain, clean, and operate on a daily basis. And then portable buildings, we've got about 29,740 square feet portable building. Some of the data that you're going to see here is not required to be presented for portable buildings, so we don't have that kind of information. You're going to see it in just a moment. We also have 201 acres of land associated with our regional studies that our grounds group cares for. So this is part of that analysis about whether or not we have a student housing emergency. And you can see that the OSPI defines a teaching station that may or may not be connected to reality in some ways, because we have our classes, on average, I'm going to assume about 25 students per grade. It fluctuates with the lower elementary grades having maximum of 21. And some of our secondary classes having 60 kids. I'm talking about band or PE can have that many kids. So a teaching station in OSPI's eyes may be a little bit different than what we think of as a teaching station. Because what you can see here is the bottom line expressed on the far right-hand column shows the number of seats that we have in excess of our enrollment, our current enrollment. And just as an example, you can see President's Elementary, according to this calculation, has 184 seats available. I can tell you right now that President's does not have 184 seats available. And it's partially because of the mix of classroom sizes inside of that building, because there was originally a preschool inside of the building, which doesn't have as big of a classroom space. There was also therapy rooms that are counted as a teaching station. And there's some pull-out rooms that are intended for smaller groups that don't have the same same amount of space available for students as a regular sized classroom. OSPI and for this purpose does not consider that as far as their calculation of excess or deficit seats. So according to the calculation that OSPI defines, we've got 953 excess seats available in the district. Now, we struggle to find 953 seats. We could probably do it, but it's going to be a major change. For example, what would have to happen is our teachers that are currently staying in their classrooms for their planning period would have to leave their classroom because then we could achieve what is called 100% utilization. So that every class is occupied by an active teaching session. Every room has an active teaching session in it every period of the day. That's not how we operate. Some schools, if they're faced with a student housing emergency, that's how they do operate. We'd also be compelled to potentially convert our gymnasiums or multipurpose rooms into classroom space as well. But that kind of denies the reality that we use those spaces for other purposes like lunch service or assemblies. So this isn't exactly a pure expression of how much space we've got available, but it's what OSPI uses to determine if we have a student housing need. So at this point, we don't have a student housing need. Part of that is because of our enrollment levels where they are right now, but that's always subject to change. We're working on a demographic study, which I'm going to be presenting to you in January, along with our enrollment projection, which we'll have more information about where we think we're going to go in terms of our enrollment. I spoke earlier about how we identify potential bond-funded projects. Right now, the sole project that's identified in our master facilities plan, which is our long-range educational facilities plan, is the post-middle school replacement. So this would be the project that would be eligible for SCAP funding if we were to present a request to the state. And I want to show you the resolution. It's pretty straightforward. Just as I presented the resolution to you, you accept it and authorize us to submit it to the state OSPI and the date at which it was presented. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Do student advisors have any questions about the study and survey of school facilities? Anybody else have any questions? I think I have a question.
So the portables aren't available for SCAP
That's right.
funding. So if there was, say, SBLC that just presented, that would be if they needed different buildings funded through a bond or,
SBLC,
yeah.
yes, yeah. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but because those students are housed in portables right now, they may be considered unhoused for state construction assistance funding.
And Brent, I think you explained this before, but if you could remind me. So when I look over this, this assessment in different buildings, and it was like 62% fair or 30% was poor. I think that was under post-middle school. What do those condition ratings mean? Is there a depreciation? Is there funding that that affects funding we can get for those buildings? What does that mean?
Does affect our eligibility for modernization in lieu of new construction.
So is there a benchmark? Is there something below a percentage that we're then eligible, like full funding? Like what's the level? Is
Not
there?
really, what is the overriding factor is the total score that's assigned to it, and
To the school,
yes,
to a school?
yeah.
Okay.
OS or post has, met that condition.
Right.
No question.
Okay.
Other schools are in good shape and they don't meet the condition for modernization.
We don't pursue, yeah. Okay, all right, yeah, I remember you talked about that before. Very comprehensive.
Any other questions? Right. So there is a resolution, and this is the action item that we're gonna be taking. Do our student advisors have any observations or concerns? Or would you recommend that we approve the resolution?
Would recommend to approve.
Do we have a motion?
I
We're doing lots of
we need
things.
to approve resolution number 2514.
I will second that motion. Got it.
It's been moved by Director Knapp and seconded by Director Diamond to approve resolution 2514, study and survey school facilities. Director Diamond?
Yay.
Director Kelly? Vice Chair Beck? Yay. Director Knapp? Yay. That resolution is approved. Thank you, Brian, for your very clear and educational presentation.
Thanks.
We appreciate you taking good care of our schools. Next up is our first reading of board policies 1111, oath of office, and 1310, policy adoption manuals and administrative procedures. Take it away.
All right, so WASDA sends us monthly, the recommendations for changes to our policies and procedures. So 1111, if that'll be shown there. The most important aspect of this is that they want to make sure that our policy talks about that when you're taking oath, whether it's a new board member and a re-elected board member, appointed board member, they take an oath, and the students and myself, we include and the laws of the state of Washington. I will say that our oath always says that we're just mirroring what it needs to say in our policy.
Okay.
So we're good as far as what we've said publicly. And then the last sentence is just aligning to what WASDA would like us to say. And this came out of Policy News 2025. Any questions about that?
I have a quick question about oath. Do only the board members that were up for reelection this year do an oath, or do we all retake an oath?
The two.
Just the two, okay. Let's check it.
Good question. That is a good question. The next one is 1310. It is it's the policy adoption manuals and administrative procedures towards the bottom. There is a new section that's added about policy interpretation, and it's just new language that WASDA would like us to put in here, making sure that it is the policy of the state of Washington that policies and procedures adopted by the board, school districts under the Title 28A RCW must prioritize the protection of every student's safety across the district and the state statutory programs of basic education as defined by that RCW. So, and I think that's it did change from encouraged to important at the very end. And this too was this change right here for this paragraph added is from the Policy News 2025 July. So that's it.
Any comments, changes, requested? All right, that brings us to our informational items. Let's start with our superintendent's report.
So we're going to have a joint effort here, and we're going to, rather than just myself reading the thank you notes from scholarships, we're each sharing by reading one. So no, I'm gonna read at the end because then I'm gonna go on with my rest. So Alex, would you start? And we'll just go around this way.
Or just don't.
Yeah, don't read their name. I mean, read the first name.
To the donors of the Memorial McGibb Mill McDowell Rural Scholarship, thank you so much. I'm so grateful and appreciate this opportunity. Thank you for selecting me and helping me start this new chapter in my life. Thank you again, and Sophie.
Glasses are coming out.
Dear board, thank you for putting your trust in me and helping me fund my education. This past year has truly helped me be successful and less stressed with costs. I am so thankful for people like you who take the time to help others succeed within their education. Never thought I would go to college, and now I just finished my first year. Thank you truly for all your support and generosity.
Thank you so much for the Merle McGuire Mayo Endowment Scholarship. I am going into my third year of college this fall. The scholarship has truly been the difference between being able to afford my school and not. Over the past 2 years, I have been able to pursue research and dedicate my time to things I am passionate about and schoolwork. Currently, I'm doing research in theoretical particle physics. This would not be possible without my scholarship. Because of not having to worry about working, I have become president of my school's chapter of the Society of Physics Students. Through this, I have organized outreach programs to elementary and middle schools to teach children about the fun of science. Although I love physics, I'm incredibly passionate about serving and helping others. The time I would have spent working, I've been able to spend volunteering. In just this last year, I have spent hundreds of hours working with my community on outreach at places like animal shelters, women's shelters, and food banks. This scholarship has truly been life-changing. I cannot thank you enough for this generosity, and I hope you have a great rest of your year.
Dear Merle McGuire Mayo Endowment Scholarship Committee, I'm writing to sincerely thank you for your generous support through this scholarship. As a first-gen college student from a low-income background, I never imagined I'd have the opportunity to attend a university, let alone UW, to pursue my dream of becoming a neonatologist. This scholarship, however, means more than just financial help. It is a reminder that people believe in students like me and the future we can create. I'll be paying for college on my own, and your support lifts a huge weight off my shoulders and lets me focus on my pre-med studies and future goals. Thank you for helping make this possible.
Donors of the Merle McGuire Mayo Endowment Scholarship, I want to share my deepest gratitude. I am so thankful that you have shown a great generosity with awarding this wonderful scholarship to me. I will forever be grateful that you guys trust me to use this scholarship for my new adventure starting at Boise State this fall. This scholarship means so much to me and will help me in many ways I cannot describe. With that being said, I want to express my deepest and utmost thank yous to the donors of the Merle McGuire Mayo Endowment Scholarship.
Hello, I hope this letter finds you well. I would like to thank you for allowing me to pursue my dreams at Seattle University in the fall. I'll be majoring in computer science. This would not be possible without your support. Again, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for awarding me this scholarship. I have been struggling to figure out how to pay for college, and this has helped alleviate some of the stress. I've always dreamed of going to college, but as a first-generation student, it never seemed possible for me. But this will help me achieve my dreams. So thank you again. I will be able to thank. I will never. Thank you. I will never be able to thank you enough for this gift, but I will always be grateful. Thank you. So one of the things coming up in two board meetings, we're going to have the opportunity again as a board to hear from Jean about what money is available for this year's scholarships. So we'll have one more round of reading thank you notes, and during that meeting, actually consider what kind of scholarships to help for this year. And then I went on Friday to the Arlington High School play, Life Spirit, and it was awesome to be there and support the cast, and they did a great job. It was a good thing. And then the people behind the scenes, the students behind the scenes that were helping as well. So well done. And then tomorrow is Veterans Day, and the parade, and the march in the parade downtown Arlington. And I just want to thank all of our veterans for sacrificing so much to protect our freedom. And I thank them for our service. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next up is our legislative update and discussion.
Not much to update. Yeah, tomorrow they're having a noon session for the legislative representatives. Not sure if I'll make that or not. I am home. I booked another appointment without looking at my calendar first, so if I can attend, I will. Just getting ready to attend the conference. I'm really excited that we're all local this year, and having our new board members will be exciting. I think it'll be a very, not sure if it'll be life-changing for you, but certainly eye-opening, and just being ready to embrace those other students your age that are participating. Every time we've been, it's been very enriching, and the kids come back just like grinning ear to ear. So looking forward to that, but nothing that I can really think of in terms of legislative things right now.
Thank you. Love to hear from our student advisors. Maddie, do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. I was really glad to see Weston, like Farrell, Parsley, my friends come and present. My freshman year, I actually went to the club a couple of times. It was actually really fun. But I just stopped playing because I got busy, and I honestly did not know how to play. So I was like, I don't know the experience, but yeah. Yeah, the day was our President's Day, not President's Day, Veterans Day, definitely not President's, I'm sorry. I kind of ran it, did the speeches and everything, so that was really fun. And I started my first like real job a couple weeks ago. I didn't get to change, so I'm in my scrubs. I work at a vet clinic now. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. And so it's going great. We have our animals in, and took care of them on Sunday. It's a really late night, but yeah, everything's good.
So at the high school, the cross country team just got back from state, which is very exciting. We had 2 students I know of place. We had also one of our girls for the first time place at state, who was a junior, so very exciting. I think a senior boy placed first. I might be wrong. The yearbook class is going to Nashville, which I know they're very excited for. I'm very jealous. My big thing is there's an ASL Jamboree, which is an ASL competition through Skills USA, which you all know I love. So basically we through Mr. Long and Mr. Houston, who's the ASL teacher at the high school, they are doing this big competition with a bunch of different schools from all around. They have a bunch of volunteers coming in to be able to judge. There's I think 3 different things you could do. You sign your own story, you sign up for like a folktales story from like deaf culture, or you do a Q&A. It's all very fun. I'm very sad to be missing it for the WASA conference. I know, I'm very sad. But we're hoping that we're gonna do another one. We're gonna do a couple more, do like more competitions and try to spread this out more, because there's not a Skills USA signing thing in this side of Washington. So we're like the first things to be doing it over here.
So thank you for sharing that. That was awesome. Director Diamond, anything you'd like to share?
Happy Veterans Day. Thank a veteran. Enjoy your day off.
Thank you for your service. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Director Knapp, anything to share?
Yeah, thank you. You told me.
Thank you, veterans.
Not this veteran.
Okay, just thank you to all veterans. Happy Veterans Day. I wanted to say, like, one thing that's been on my mind and a topic has been food availability, accessibility. So I just wanted to give kudos to Weston for starting food pantries so quickly. And I did hear too that there was like food available for parents during AHS conferences. So Arlington High School conferences, I thought that was awesome, just very welcoming, and I love to see the community coming together, and grateful for the food resources that were shared on the Arlington School District website as well. I would encourage everybody to donate to food banks if possible, money, food, ask what they need, things like that, because the need was already increasing before this last month, and it's kind of skyrocketing. So, yeah, that's my public service announcement, and I'll be down with the band tomorrow and watching the Veterans Day Parade. It's short, but one of my favorites.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, Director Kelly?
Yes, I ditto the food needs, and we're having a competition in our school. I want to share with Dr. Sweeting, so I really liked how efficient was that Gary put out the links to all these resources, and I loved it so much. I emailed Dr. Murphy, said, hey, I don't know that we have this on Lakewood. And she goes, thanks so much. So, just spreading the word, right? And Jim and my husband had gone to the collecting food. I don't know if it was through Rotary or something. And then he said, so we went to Grocery Outlet because we're doing boxes in our own buildings in Lakewood. And it's really efficient over there because they have this is a high need item, like bing, bing, bing. And then another like oatmeal and masa, or, these are, and I took from Lakewood School, Brian had given us a list of the things. So I had that on my phone. So I was just kind of lining that up. So it made it easy peasy. And I have it in my room right now, and I wanted to make it fun for the kids, but I was just like, if we could each bring 2 things, that would be really awesome. So you make it kind of approachable for the youngs. I have kids in my room that get food bags, so just whatever that looks like for them. But I think that I have a very compassionate group this year. Like, we're all in, and I'm wanting to foster that a bit, and I just appreciate that kids are excited to bring something, No, though they don't understand necessarily all the needs, but the heart is there, and that's what's really special. So anyway, yeah, kudos to people stepping up.
For sure. I want to say that I enjoyed going to the Golden Eagles Pie Social. Cheryl was there, and I also got to go to the play. I went Saturday night. My favorite is going to the last show because they recognize the seniors. And it's a little bit longer of a wait before you can go home, but I loved hearing all the little, personality things and all the fun things about these amazing kids, and they did an amazing job. And Hazel was just dynamite. And then I also got to go to a football game where the band played, and I was really cold on the bleachers down in Sammamish, but it was remarkable to be able to sit there and watch that last football game. Bless you. And then I want to just take a point of privilege just for 1 second and say happy birthday to Nicole and to Chris. And happy birthday. And I'm looking forward to the WASDA conference next week. That's all I have. And then I want to remind everybody about our next meetings, and there's a long list, so I hope you're not forgetting any of them. We have our special meeting and event attendance for our WASDA conference on November 20th through the 22nd. And then right after we come home and unpack your suitcase, then you get to come back here on Monday night, the 24th, to attend a study session at 4 and then a regular meeting at 6. So right here at the district office. So if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll send it. It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Knapp to adjourn meeting. Director Diamond?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
President Levesque? Yes. Director Knapp? Yes. Meeting's adjourned. Director.
This is very.